Fake sponsor of the week.
What did the toaster say to the bread? Gonna lick it.
Boiled eggs.
Well, it's episode 2 of the boiled eggs. We're still here. Sorry. But the guys are back to talk rubbish.
Just for that, mainly that one Vietnam listener. We're back for you.
Yeah, we're starting episode 2 with 13 listeners so far. So if you are one of those people that wasn't us listening back to the podcast on our own devices, which probably made up a good portion of the 13, then hello. I've also added an email address that people can contact us on now, so that's been added to the podcast information. So it should have uploaded and updated by the time this goes out. Uploaded. Maybe we should just do that for the rest of the podcast.
No, remember what happened with the other meme last episode that didn't go into the finished product?
Which one? I don't remember.
Okay.
I remembered. I just wanted you to do that again.
You tease. So, what's on the agenda today then, gentlemen?
I mean, do we want to do weekly exchange? That was supposed to be one of our weekly fixtures. We found last time that we led very boring lives, so...
Well, I'm sure there's something interesting that's happened this week. I mean, I know one person's probably had something going on.
Yeah, has anyone had any birthdays or anything like that?
No birthdays.
No,
that surprises me. Yep.
Yes,
happy birthday!
I'm
Happy birthday
37.
today,
Oh, I shouldn't say my age, really, should I? But I am that old. I'm old.
Chewy. It's your birthday.
Oh, man.
Happy birthday, Chewy. This is wrong. Well, something minor happened to me the other day. So, obviously I spoke at length about Warhammer last time. I did actually spend Saturday round Rob, who I mentioned before, his house. And whilst I was waiting for him to reverse his car at the car park and turn it round, and I was stood there in the street with a couple of boxes in a bag, he decided to maneuver very differently to what I was expecting, and his tyre ended up on top of my boxes of Warhammer.
Oh, ouch! As in, and they're broken.
No, thankfully, it probably got a lot more of the space of the boxes and probably knocked a few things off, but didn't break anything. Luckily, because that's like at least 120 quid worth there.
Wow! So you could have had some flat, sexy goblins or whatever it was that Chris was talking about last time.
Sexy gargoyles.
I called them fit goblins. I didn't even realise until it would come back, until I listened back through. Why did I call them? I must have had a lot to drink. Why did I call them fit?
It wasn't even goblins. Now it's fit goblins.
Gargoyles,
Sexy
wasn't it?
Now it's fit goblins.
I suppose we're supposed to have like a good news section as well, right? I'm going to throw my good eggs in here because it was actually quite nice today. I went out for a brief cycle, and I see this old guy who looks, like he could be a little bit grumpy. He's got a dog, and I'm thinking, oh god, he's looking at me as if he's gonna complain about something. And he just said, "Oh no, there's glass up there. It's just on the left. So if you just cycle to the right, you'll be fine." So not only did he let me know that there was glass, he even told me how to avoid it, and really nice. So that hasn't happened for a long time. Anyone being nice to me on my bike. So it was a nice little surprise today.
I was almost half expecting you to say that you followed his direction and actually there was a trap set or something. He did it on purpose.
Yeah, the glass was actually on the right.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Move on.
Well, I was gonna carry on from Ian's cycling thing to say that one of my irritating things from cycling home today was I was cycling past somebody and they had a dog with them, and the dog just bloody attacked me as I cycled past. Like out of nowhere, like I wasn't expecting it at all. And just literally, the dog just started attacking my bike as I cycled.
Apparently, some good advice if you're getting attacked by a dog is to stick your finger up its bum.
I've actually heard that.
Did you hear it from Martin by any chance?
Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah.
All right, so
sorry.
I can see every time we go off,
I
every
feel
time we go off on a tangent, you can tell Ian gets annoyed because I've got to fucking edit that out now.
No. Tangents are good. I was actually just scrolling through what it is that we've got to talk about, what we wrote down at the pub, which sounded like a great idea yesterday. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a great idea today.
Which things do you think don't sound great today? Let's go over those.
Oh, hit us up, because I am not aware of these at all.
Well,
because you went to the quiet bar.
We did,
because you were scared.
We were scared of the Wales fans, and more importantly,
me and my dad.
Exactly.
Wait, all the anti-Wales fans that were there and had been drinking there since 6 hours earlier. Yeah, they're the ones. And they're the ones that we were afraid of, and couldn't hear ourselves think because it was so loud.
That for me though is absolutely a boiling point topic. I really don't understand the. So we all live in the UK, but if you're English, you're going to hate on the Welsh and the Scottish and the Irish when they're playing games, and the same for all the other people. I just find that really, really strange.
They were cheering on America in the pub last night.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand that.
It's a kind of segment.
I like the bass. I like the buttery bass. I like the buttery biscuit bass. Wobble, 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 wobble,
wobble. What we could do is, we could start off with current affairs this week. I mean, I don't know if you all heard, it's all over social media. Some very sad news: the passing of the green, white, red, black Power Ranger.
Power Ranger.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So Jason David Frank. That's right. Very sad news. I don't know about you guys, but that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, certainly the original, was a huge part of my childhood.
Yeah, he was the main one, wasn't he? He was the daddy.
Well, yeah, he was the White Ranger, wasn't he?
Green Ranger first.
Yeah,
wasn't
he? I mean, yeah.
Wasn't he Red Ranger first, and then he went to Green?
No.
No, Jason was Red.
Yeah, he was Green Ranger first, and then he became White Ranger, and then as I understand it, in later different variations of Power Rangers, he was different ones. But I'll always remember him as the White Ranger, mainly because of the film with Ivan Ooze. Do you remember that? That was the Ninja Rangers, though, wasn't it? But yeah, absolutely.
Ivan Ooze was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but just the next generation of, I think.
They turned into Ninja Rangers in that film.
Oh, they did near the end. Yeah, you're right.
But the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song is spoilers. Absolute banger. I know we got a bit off topic here, but I used to have all the toys as well as a kid, and they're just so. I even look on eBay; they're just so expensive trying to get back.
Honestly, remember, not long after that, they had a follow up, and it was called. Oh shit! I'm gonna forget what it's called now. Is it VR Troopers? VR Troopers or something like that? Straight after Power Rangers, I think it was. Wasn't long after Power Rangers had been released.
Well, but the whole thing of Power Rangers that was created as many of those kids programs are, but that was like kind of the original where it really blew up. It was created to sell children's toys. So the toys were created first. That's what they had in mind. Then they build a cartoon. Kids want to buy it. And I remember really, really vividly, and I don't really remember that many things from my childhood, but we couldn't get any Power Ranger stuff at all. It just sold out absolutely everywhere, and that's my first memory of things kind of being sold out. I'd never experienced that issue before.
How cool was the idea of the toys that it was like? I used to love Transformers as well, and you had, I think they combined, I don't know, the time maybe it was stereotypical kid boy, dinosaurs and robots. But not only that, they can make one big robot, and it was just incredible. Used to love it. I probably still love it now because I'm getting quite excited thinking about it.
I feel like a lot of men kind of keep their childhood, their childish nature as they go through their life. That a lot of men still have at least something kind of. I know Chris, you collect a lot of like the retro stuff and all that kind of thing. Martin, you got Warhammer. Adam's got. You've got a whole cabinet full of just stuff, like figures and collectibles, and
Yeah, a lot of retro stuff from the 90s mainly.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's what will be my topic point, which is anime, which is obviously considered largely by a lot of people is something quite childish in an adult form. So yeah, there's quite a lot I'd say that comes from your childhood that you take on into the future, I think.
It's funny though, because when we went to Japan, and that is definitely a topic we'll have to go over at some point, but when we went there, you have a bunch of guys that businessmen who are in their 40s, their 50s, reading anime on the train. It's a common sight, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very much so. I'm not quite sure why that's tickled Martin about businessmen, but
I think he's straight away gone to the image of hentai, and he's thinking,
I know what they were reading on a train.
Yeah.
Tentacles are prominent, I hear.
But that was created, right? The whole tentacle porn thing was created because they weren't allowed to put penises in porn, so therefore this guy came up with the idea of tentacles, and yeah.
There's always a loophole.
Oh, I'll get that out later. That'd be fun. Anyway, carry on. I feel like I've interrupted so really nice conversation.
That's definitely going in. the sound clips I'm getting are just brilliant.
Oh, dear.
I have to chop and change everything around so that it's not actually what happened.
Anyone got any other news? Thing happened to them that's interesting, annoying, just made you think this week?
I dislike other parents in the car park at school. One, the car park's too small for the fucking school. The school is far too big for the amount of car parking spaces they have. First thing, really annoying. And then you park in a space nicely, and there's always that one car that will park this close to you, or say this close to you, like an inch away from you, so you can't get the fuck out of your car, and then you can't get your kid in the car either. Annoying. And then when you've picked up the kid and put her in the car, you have to wait for some fucker to let you out because there's just streams of cars coming past. And not one person will let you out. You have to always do a dive, and then normally you nearly run over a kid. And then it's your fault when Timmy's lost his leg.
You've been working on your storytelling, Chris. I liked that.
You like that? That was good, right? But yeah, very annoying. Other parents in car parks.
Yeah.
Dicks.
Right. So I actually had a boiling point as well, which is one that is like a constant jibber jabber from me, Chris, and that's forcing everyone back into the office. This pointless exercise of saying to people, right, we want to be more productive. We need to make sure that we are able to do our jobs. So we need to get back into the office. Given we've been doing our jobs from home for the last 2.5, maybe 3 years or almost, and people are still saying that we need to get back into the office, and that's really, really starting to annoy me. As much as John might like to talk about the amount of free food he gets at where he works, no amount of free food, and that's me saying this, would convince me back into the office.
Might I ask what type of free food? I'm hungry, so I just want to know.
They actually get apparently very, very nicely cooked meals for lunch, sandwiches and stuff like that. So a lot of people, well, I'm going to say a lot of people, some people apparently, will go and have their lunch at the early lunch, and then they'll go back and get a sandwich that they can then eat for later for their dinner.
Oh, nice. I used to work in a postal company and in a warehouse. And for my lunch, that was that a teenage? Yeah, like late teens, early 20s, I think. For lunch, I used to go, they had a vending machine, and it had really, and I'm not talking pucker pies, but like steak and kidney pie or something, but we're not talking top quality stuff. I used to just get one of them, pop it in the Popty Ping, and then that's microwave for the Welsh.
Or microwave for the Nigella fans.
Microwave,
yeah. The Nigellans. and go and sit in the smoking area. I didn't smoke, but everyone else did, so that was where the social activity was.
It's amazing to think back to the old jobs, because me and Adam both worked in the same supermarket. I don't know if it was like that when you were there, but I know. But there used to be a smoking room, so I don't know if that changed by the time you got there. But there was an actual smoking room inside, like the back of the store, because obviously you could still smoke inside at that point, and it was literally a hot box. because it was the smallest room with maybe 20 people in it, full of smoke, and of course that's where everyone goes to socialise. So I was in there, hated smoke, but you go in there to socialise, and yeah, it was really horrible.
There was absolutely no ventilation in there, so if you went in there, you were essentially suffocating yourself just very slowly, with all the other smokers around you. Yeah, and the whole room I don't think was supposed to be, but was very yellow everywhere.
Yeah,
it was very unpleasant. But yeah, it was there when I was there, but now, like with most places that you have in the UK, you've got a bus shelter that you can go to for smoking purposes. In the furthest point away from where you actually work.
Yeah, there's a really good episode of IT Crowd, which is where she's the manager is smoking, and they keep on putting the shelter further and further away, as if they're kind of, I think she ends up talking Russian or something, doesn't she? Because she's kind of moved so far out of her office. Yeah, I mean, thank God for the smoking ban, because as a non-smoker, it was horrendous. I used to feel ill from drinking nights out from the smoke, not the alcohol.
You used to just wake up to like musky smell in your room because you've just literally taken your clothes off and dumped them on the floor, and then the smoke would just go boom.
Exactly, and I don't think we should talk about the people you slept with again. Musky smells, and you'd wake up with all your clothes off.
But then, saying that, also the clubs all used to, I don't know, yes, they were filled with smoke and stuff, and it added a bit of mysticism to it. But then when they had the ban, you could see them for what they really were, which was a sticky, stained, stinky mess. And you just thought,
are you talking about the clubs? Are you talking about the clubs or the women? I genuinely don't know.
The clubs,
right? You're saying like a sweaty, stained, stinky mess.
That could probably be allocated to anybody that went out in where we live, I suppose.
In the Swindon nightlife.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. Yeah. If we do ever start a club, I used to, when I was in like school and college, I always wanted to own a club, and I came up with so many ideas. I used to do art, so part of like that was to, I think it was more design really, but part of that was to design your own thing. And I created, well, I'm not going to say actually, because then one of you might copyright and fucking sort yourselves out. But I created a club, and I thought, what's unique? What would get people to come to this place and keep it unique? Because that's the thing, isn't it? Everyone goes to the new club because it's the new club, and then once they realize, oh, actually, it's same old, then they sort of spread out to what else is there, or if something else comes up new, they all herd over to there like the cattle that they are. But apart from all that negativity, I actually always wanted to own a club, and I thought it'd be really cool. Very stressful.
You've really sold the idea of owning a club to me.
It's a kind of segment.
So we could do your music one. I wrote a couple of other things down. I know we talked also about waste of time, but we can't start that until Martin sings
the theme tune.
Who sings it?
I don't know, George something. I don't know. Owen Paul. So I was close to George.
Yeah. I still wrote Owen George. Waste of time. You're my favorite waste of time. Here I am. I'm playing, daydreaming, fool again. You're my favorite game, and you are the one who's got my head in the clouds above. You're the one that I love, and you're my favorite honey. You're the favorite waste of time. No, doesn't work.
I don't know what just happened, but that's absolutely staying in the podcast. Well, yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of interesting based on. I mean, I waste a lot of time anyway. I don't know. I guess you three have families, so maybe you don't have that ability to kind of just waste time on random crap. But for me, it's like flicking through YouTube shorts and all that kind of thing. And at the end of it, I'm thinking I didn't learn anything new from that. I didn't take anything new. I maybe found one meme that kind of made me laugh.
It's all about TikTok, mate. The amount of meals and recipes I've got off TikTok that we've actually made, and they've been amazing.
Really?
Absolutely life-changing, mate. Fucking loads.
That therefore makes it not a waste of time.
Well, yeah, it does make it a waste of time. I mean, but you've got to get through all the boobs, the ass, the cod.
Oh yes,
you've got to get
it's such a hard thing to get through all of the boobs and the ass. At least that's what you tell. That's what you tell your lovely wife. Oh, I'm trying to find this recipe, but I've been scrolling for ages, and it's only boobs and ass.
Because you haven't left that profile yet.
Yeah.
No one else. Just there must be like stuff you waste time on. It's just me. Like I want to feel better about myself. That I spend of the hours I'm awake, I probably spend 90% of that wasting time.
I pay FIFA, mate. That is the perennial waste of time. Like literally, all you're doing is forcing 11 fake people up and down a pitch.
Wow.
And it's like you don't achieve anything. It's leisure time, isn't it? It's chill out time. You're not meant to be achieving anything, right? Like maybe less than 90%, I suppose. But it's not a waste of time if you're just relaxing and chilling out, right? I mean, Call of Duty is completely different. Like if you're playing Call of Duty, that's not relaxing at all. But
no,
FIFA can also get a bit annoying. But yeah, I don't think anything's necessarily a waste of time if you're chilling from it or relaxing.
Kind of kills this segment, Chris. Thanks.
Well, I was making a point.
Nothing's a waste of time.
I like that Chris has now become this sort of wise guru.
37 now. I've got to be. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I've mellowed in the last day.
In the last
Is that
one
because
day.
you still have cut from last night?
Yeah, probably. I had way too much last night. That got heavy quick. West Side.
East side is the best.
West side is the best.
East side is the best.
West side is the best.
West side is the best.
East side is the best. Oh shit!
For any listeners out there that don't know what the hell these two idiots are on about, that's Ali G in the house. Hey,
By the batteries together.
He ate two res, butterers. Me was trying to save time.
Oh shit, that's going to lead a lot of polish.
So we've got to have a little bit more content here because you've just done that lovely song of wasting time.
Basically, that's what we've done since.
Well, I suppose we probably could say that this podcast is maybe our favourite waste of time right now.
Yeah,
I mean, all 30 of my listeners probably think the same.
I'll be interested to see.
9 technically.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if after adding the email, whether or not people do actually email us and say, "Hey, that podcast was terrible. Can you please not do that again? I will pay you. I will pay you not to podcast.
I'll pay you $1 million."
I feel like you should also, considering you keep mentioning the email, you should probably actually say what the email is, because I have no idea what it is.
None of you know what it is.
Exactly. And 2, I feel like we should have a point why people would email in. Like,
that's a good question, isn't it?
To just a general questions section.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you can ask us questions, you can hurl abuse at us, you can tell us whether you'd like maybe a spin-off podcast with just Martin's voice for 10 hours so that you can go to sleep with his
ASMR or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, hold on. You made it sound like it was a compliment last time, but now you make it sound like I'm really boring.
No. So I'm actually quite
digging you out
desperate
now.
for you. Yeah, I really want you to record that because I genuinely would listen to that. I found when I cycled with your voice in my ears the other day, and I found it really relaxing, and it actually enabled me to keep pace, like keep a regular cadence on the bike because your voice is so rhythmic.
What you don't know, Martin, is he's made his own edit of the podcast with just your voice in it.
Yeah, and it's
I'm repeating for 10 hours.
But it's actually just the bits like where he's exhaled and stuff. So it's just going, Yeah, it would be funny if that wasn't true. You wanted to know the email address? It's boiledeggspodcast@gmail.com.
It's nice and easy then.
It's official.
It's very easy to remember.
It was going to be boiledeggs@gmail.com, but someone's taken it. I feel like this podcast is just going to be clips of
utter nonsense.
Yeah, it's utter nonsense so far. So let's move on to that other section.
It's a kind of segment.
Are we letting Adam do his hentai stuff then?
So I'm not going into the depths of that in any aspect of what I've got prepared. So no.
Right, come on, Tentacle King. On this week's episode of Explain It to Me, we've got Adam. It's Adam's turn to tell us something that he's into. What have you got for us, mate?
I've got anime this week from me. I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has. Do you want to raise your hands if you want to ask a question?
I do love that we talked about that last night to say, do you think to stop cutting over each other we should put our hands up? And there was a unanimous vote of no to that.
Because I'm not 5.
All right, so give us a summary. What is it?
Was it? So anime is classed as a sort of cartoon-esque thing that is created in Japan, and it is largely based on manga, which is the drawn art form that they use there. Most are derived from some form of manga, but there are situations where anime is created first and then a manga created after that. Certain animes will catch up with the manga because they obviously, where a manga might create 17 chapters to cover one fight scene within that manga, anime can cover that fight scene in a matter of 2 episodes. So obviously you have a manga for 7-8 years running, and you start the anime, and the anime will catch up with it within about a year to 2 years because of the quantity that you can get covered in an animation over the manga. There are typically 5 types of anime that you can come across, which are shonen, shoujo, seinen, josei, and kodomomuke. Yeah, the seinen.
the fact that you said there are 5 types that you can come over or come across.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
And then you said seamen. It was too much.
Yeah, I probably pronounced it wrong as well, so I'm sure someone will mention that. I'm not going to actually say what they translate to now, because it's going to become even more dirty, or at least it's going to appear like it is. So I'm going to completely ignore what they refer to. Unless you want to know. Do you want to know what their literal translations are?
Yes, particularly, the seaman one, I would like to know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's very professional of you to do
so. So that one translates to young men.
All right, we'll stop there.
Right, yeah, let's stop there.
Shonen translates to for boys.
God.
Shoujo is young girls.
For fuck's sake.
Josei is for women. And Kodomomuke is directed for children. So that would be things like Pokemon, Digimon, the things that you would find with Studio Ghibli movies and stuff.
I really wasn't expecting that level of information, to be honest. So, and I've only just clocked when you said about the animation bit that I guess anime is short for animation.
I actually don't think the word anime derives from the word animation at all. I think it's just actually partially a coincidence, but I don't actually know the origin of the word anime. Why would I? I just like watching. I just like watching the animations fight and stuff like that. Typical stuff that you'd find on a shonen anime.
What got you into? So this is an interesting question to ask, because we're brothers, but I've never asked you the question. What got you into anime? I've genuinely no idea.
All the hentai. No. Yeah. So the first anime that I would have ever watched, the 2 first animes that I would have watched around about the same sort of time would be Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z, to be specific, because it was available when Cartoon Network would go into Toonami at night time. and it would and that's when the first releases of mainstream anime came to the UK, was when you could see it on things like Toonami in the evenings and stuff. The second anime that I would have watched and that got me into it would have been Shaman King, which actually got remade this year and I think last year, and then released on Netflix, because Netflix have taken the rights from it and recreated it. So that one's quite a good one good one for starter anime.
I've never heard of the second one. I've heard of Dragon Ball Z, which I guess pretty much everyone has.
Yes, Martin, you raised your hand.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, have you heard of the latest Dragon Ball?
Be more specific. Do you mean Dragon Ball Super, or do you mean Dragon Ball Heroes, or?
I think it actually is called Dragon D's Balls.
I knew a joke was coming. You could see it from the deadpan look on his face that there was a joke coming.
Oh God, I really wish I'd put more effort into taking the piss out of his thing last week.
I genuinely, I did think that actually that we didn't, rip on him enough.
Seriously, no, he just went on his monologue by himself. Nobody interrupted him. Nobody made jokes about semen or anything like that.
And the stats for the podcast actually show where people like skip through because Martin's talking. They just skip through that section.
I gave you some feedback earlier from a friend of the podcast. The one thing that he had said to me was, I wish I hadn't listened to it in my car because I couldn't skip Martin talking about Warhammer.
Oh.
Yeah, I've spoken to that person, and he's dead.
That's harsh.
No, I know who it is. I have actually chatted to them, and that's definitely not his cup of tea at all.
It's definitely not his sort of thing.
And I can't wait to have him a guest on the podcast.
I have told him that he will be a guest at some point. He will. I have told him that he does not need to talk about Warhammer. He was very happy about that.
Good. I look forward to interviewing him.
So one of the interesting animes that has just recently been actually what's the right word? Procured by Disney. Is that the right word? So they are currently showing an anime called Bleach, the Blood Wars, 100-year Blood Wars. Yeah, Bleacher. Anyway, so that is releasing every week on Disney Plus. But it's actually been 20 years since its creation, and it went on approximately like a 15-year hiatus from when the original anime was released. So a lot of anime fans have been waiting a long time for that to come out. So it's quite an exciting thing to watch at this moment in time, and quite easily accessible because of Disney, which obviously makes, since anime is not very highly accessible in the UK without having a like online account with something like Crunchyroll.
Is Crunchyroll an actual? What's Crunchyroll?
So Crunchyroll is it's a paid subscription for the use of watching anime. That's its sole purpose. Is just and manga. You can read manga on there as well, but largely for the anime.
What's your favorite anime?
That is too difficult of a question. Please move on.
No, you're supposed to tell him that these are terrible questions because he had to go at us last week.
No.
What's some anime that people would have actually heard of? Because I kind of get Dragon Ball Z because I've seen a little bit of it, and I think it's terrible. But at least I know what it is. What else is there?
Well, the most popular ones at the moment are things like Naruto, because they've also just released a load of clothing lines with H&M and stuff as well.
Is Naruto the stuff that I bought you some clothes from Japan? Was that Naruto?
No, you bought me One Piece.
Is that anime?
That's anime, yeah. I would say that probably would answer the question, Martin's question of what my favorite anime is, probably. Yeah, that one has got just a little over 1,000 episodes now, because it's been going since I think since 1998. So it's been going for quite a while. But yeah, last year they reached their 1,000th episode.
So for me, I like some anime things. I'd probably say I'm a tourist. I like tourist anime. Um, what would you say? So things like for me, obviously, I've seen Spirited Away. Obviously, that's a hugely popular anime film. Um, what would you say are some good anime films or series that maybe people who are just, I don't know, inquisitive or curious about it, but not die-hard fans? What's something that they could get their teeth into?
So going back to the 5 types of anime that there are, without saying any of the names of them.
Yeah, you don't need to have got it, Seaman.
Got it, Seaman. Yeah. So depending on what sort of age range that you are, certain animes will appeal to you more because that's what they've targeted for. Some of the main animes that you'll actually find you'll be able to get access to now on Netflix because it's becoming more standard to be able to watch it and stuff. So on there, you'll be able to watch things like My Hero Academia, which is a good one to follow. Naruto isn't on there, but that's one that people could quite easily watch. If you want a movie that's a good one and a classic, is Ghost in a Shell, which I think most people who have dived into anime at any point would say Ghost in a Shell is a good starter one, good movie. One Punch Man is quite entertaining because it sort of takes the piss out of superhero movies, superhero animes, because the guy is just ridiculously overpowered, and his name is as the series claims, he just literally defeats everything with one punch. So it's quite hilarious for that reason. So I'd suggest those ones for people to watch.
Okay. Well, then I think if you're done explaining anime, then we could probably move on to
cracking tunes.
The idea of this segment is that someone is going to each week walk through a song that makes them happy, a song that makes them sad, a song that takes them back to their youth, an unexpected song, again puns provided by Adam, and a song that reminds you of another egg. So this week I think Martin is going to go for it, despite the fact I think he still hasn't got a song that reminds him of another egg.
That's right, yeah. That's probably the one category. I keep thinking that I've got a song, but then when actually I think about it, it reminds me of something or someone else.
So where do you want to start then? Do you want to start with your happy song?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, all right. My happy song then. It's got to be the Electric Light Orchestra and Mr. Blue Sky. That's just a song that I don't know, no matter what mood I'm in, whenever it comes on the radio or even the film, because obviously it heavily features in the beginning of it features in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's just one of those songs where as soon as I hear the first few seconds, that's it, I perk up. In terms of what it reminds me of, I know that when I had my Discman, when I was younger, I went on a trip to south of France via road with a friend's family. So it was their family, and then I was invited to go along with them, and it was sort of a road trip. And I think I had the ELO album, Kiss and whatever, but for some reason I kept listening to the Mr. Blue Sky over and over again. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that makes me happy when I hear it.
I like it. What about one that makes you? Do you want to do sad next, or do you want to end on a sad note so that everyone's depressed at the end of the podcast?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
We'll do sad now. So this one was a bit more difficult because everything makes me sad these days. I'm just kidding. So I chose this one because it makes me sad, but also makes me feel. No.
Did you say horny?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Although I suppose it could be applied to the bedroom acts.
Is this song the one that you were referring to last night that you said might actually make you cry as you're describing it on the podcast?
No, that's a different one. I chose this other one specifically because it makes me sad, but also it makes me feel like I don't know, empowered somewhat because of the experiences that it's associated to. So for this one, I've chosen "Show Must Go On" by Queen.
Okay, I mean, you're going to get a big nod of approval from Chris straight away. He's a Queen lover.
Because he doesn't look like he's nodded.
Am I the Queen? I mean, I like the song, but I don't think I was a Queen lover.
You love a bit of Queen. It's every party we go to at yours. Queen is always on there. It's always in the playlist.
It's a good party anthem, isn't it? Anything Queen, good for a party.
Yeah, Queen are definitely up there as one of my top three. The reason I chose, that's a song that I associate with a sort of darker part of my life, but also it's a song that I used, I guess, to come out of that. So the lyrics really speak to me in a way that certainly at that time that I was able to use to come out of that. So yeah, although it's a song that reminds me of that period of time, it also reminds me of the successes that have come since then. Yeah,
okay, so like a song that can kind of take you back to that time, but you can see now how far you've come.
Yeah, it's like a humbling song. It's like a checkpoint of my life, I guess. Unexpected. I do unexpected before I do youth. So
why unexpected before youth?
I don't know. I think it's a good talking point because we're all sort of 90s kids, I guess, somewhat. And so I think that'll probably create a bit more of a discussion at the end of it if I did that last.
All right.
So for unexpected, although if I'm honest, it's probably not unexpected for you guys because of Adam's Stag Do. But I'm gonna say again, I can't really think of a song, but let's go for it. Let's just go for Sherry by the Jersey Boys. Well, not by the Jersey Boys, apologies, by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Okay. That is unexpected.
That's the whole point. That is unexpected.
That is unexpected.
Yeah, completely. So
just for that reason, for the Stag Do, that it reminds you of Adam's Stag Do.
Well, I mean, well, I obviously liked it before, and it's for me, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons is a weird one because as I've grown up, see, however old I am now, I've heard songs that this group and the individual have done over their careers, and didn't really associate the songs with that singular group or singular individual. So when I finally, I think I ended up watching Jersey Boys, and I'm not a massive musicals fan by any means, but I don't even know how I came across watching that. But
Jersey Boys is fantastic,
incredible, yeah. And it was only when I watched that that then I realised that Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, or Frankie Valli when he went solo, were the people behind so many songs that have come up in my life, and I thought, wow, I can't believe that. So. Although there's many good songs I could pick for that, I picked Sherry because it's probably the one that I would say is the first one I would probably associate with them or him.
And nothing to do with the fact that it's also an alcohol.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When we were going down to Brighton for Adam's Stag doing the party bus, having drunk a lot of alcohol and singing Jersey Boys of all things, yeah, that's a good memory. Now. This one, absolutely. If I hear this, it just takes me straight back. It is Year 2000 by Blur.
Is it bad that I was like, oh yeah, Year 2000 by Busted?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Year 3000.
That's Year 3000. I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead 1,000 years.
And also, it's not Blur. Yeah. I got it. I've even written down Pulp for some reason. Yeah, right. So here we go. Start again.
So what was your choice?
Hang on.
That's going in. That's going in.
No, it
gotta
can't.
Stay in, isn't it? It's gotta.
No, it can't stay in.
It's got to stay in.
The song that reminds me of my youth is a song that I can't remember the artist.
No, right. No, that's just an error on my part. I even wrote it down. I just didn't read it out.
Mine, if my error with Simon sounding like semen stays in, your error of saying blur instead of pulp is staying in.
All right, well, I won't expand on it then. Done deal.
Cool. So let's move on to the next thing.
I think that's the perfect way of ending it, ending the episode. Martin just going, "Okay, I won't expand."
Done.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
We've got to have more sections.
I had an interesting story.
Oh yeah.
I say interesting. Actually, it is. I mean, I found it funny when I was really bored laying here doing nothing. Right, so I'm just going to read it verbatim. This is from Sky News if they want to source it. The US National Park Service is warning visitors to stop licking one of America's largest toads. The potential deadly Sonoran desert toad, also known as the Colorado River toad, excretes a toxin which can harm humans and some say it has psychedelic effects. In a Facebook post, the service warned people to refrain from licking the amphibians, which can be as big as 7 inches and have glowing eyes. As we say, this is like the weirdest thing, right? As we say, the most things you have come across in a national park, whether it's a banana slug, an unfamiliar mushroom, or a large toad with glowing eyes in the dead of night, please refrain from licking it.
Is it weird that this story makes me think of is that episode of The Simpsons where Homer licks toads?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's the story.
It's a kind of segment.
A bear walks into a bar and says, "Give me a whiskey and cola." Barman says, "Why the big pause?" The bear shrugs and says, "I'm not sure. I was born with them."
Dad jokes, bud.
Fucking funny in that one. I love that.
Every day I come home and ask my dog how his day was. He always says the same thing. Rough.
We're going to have to add a laughter track.
Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? He just needed a little space.
Who can drink 5 liters of petrol and not get ill? Jerry can. Maybe we should save some. All right, Ian, you said we may or may not have American listeners, depending on if someone's got a VPN or not. But all right, okay. Does anyone who's American actually like Oasis?
Right, yeah.
Please email in, like and subscribe if we're on YouTube, but we're not, so don't worry about it.